Okay, Councillor Sainsbury, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. When the Herald newspaper came out last week, there was a good article related to the new waste management process for the county of Simcoe. And my phone started to ring, the emails started to come. So I called the deputy mayor and he was very kind to help. He worked with the director of waste management at the county. I don't know whether they're going to change the system, but I'm not sure that they took into account some of the condominium settings that were built many years ago where the roads are 21.5 feet wide. There's a tree on every lawn, which are terribly mature. Not sure the height and the forks on the lift and so on will work in Greenbrier Road. So, and also there's not enough room for those huge containers in the very small garages that we have in Greenbrier. And they're going to be very heavy for senior citizens in winter to lug downslope driveways and find a place because of condominium regulations, you can't store them outdoors. So it means that your garage is going to be for garbage bins from now on instead of automobiles. And we're really concerned about that. Thank you.
Councillor Sainsbury, maybe you can notify the clerk for the next meeting that could be on the agenda to discuss. Because I think all the council is getting a lot of phone calls and emails about the big garbage containers. So notify the clerk and we'll have it on the next. Okay, clerk, Madam Clerk, to identify any items to add or delete.
Thank you, Your Worship. There are no additions or deletions to the agenda this evening.
Okay. Look for a mover and seconder at the agenda for the committee of the whole meeting held on July 6, 2020 be confirmed is circulated. Moved by Councillor Noah, second by Councillor McClellan. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. At this time, if anyone has a pecuniary interest, you can claim it now or when the item comes up. I'll go back to the clerk to identify items for separate discussion and the reasons thereof.
Thank you, Your Worship. Item CW3 Ethnic Mosaic Alliance Multicultural Center Expression of Interest as staff is seeking direction, as well as item CS1 Unsolicited Request to Purchase portion of NTRC lands as staff is also seeking direction. Thank you.
Good, thank you. I'll go to council to identify items. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would just like to declare a conflict of interest on CS1. I feel it's appropriate to do it now.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Questions from sorry. Council identify items for separate discussion. Councillor Beattie.
Thanks, Your Worship. CW5-1 and CS1.
Thank you. So somebody else had a card up there. Councillor Sainsbury.
Thank you, Worship. I want to speak to number 3. It has been pulled, but I would like to speak to it. Thank you.
CW3 31, I mean.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? At this time, I'll go back to the clerk to summarize all items for separate discussion.
Thank you, Your Worship. Item CW3 item CW5 Site Plan Agreement Amendment Number 2, D11-AL-098, Sienna Kingsmere, Inc., 5-story, 60-unit Seniors Residential Edition, 287 King Street South in Alliston, as well as item CS1. Thank you.
Thank you. Mover and seconder that all items not identified for separate discussion be received and the recommendation therein be recommended to council for adoption. Moved by Councillor Jebb, second by Councillor McClellan. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And CW3, Councillor Sainsbury.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship. Because I was in York Region for so many years, the city of Vaughan, the city of Markham, different places have particular multicultural centers, and they're a great gathering place. When I was the mayor of Clearview Township, on the 2nd of Clearview, they had an amazing park, and it had a small chapel and a dining center and a place for cooking, like a longhouse for cooking, all kinds of picnic tables, and it was owned by the Macedonian people of Toronto. and they would hold festivals there from time to time. And you would learn their customs, their costumes, their music, all of the things they had to offer. Their cooking was amazing. Their dessert was to die for. But that's just an aside. But I think that it's something, if we could find land, or if we had a memorandum of understanding, we are going to grow. We're one of the growth centers. We're in South Simcoe. We're going to have transit. It does make business for restaurants and for catering people, for the conventions they may have. It's not really different than the Nottawasaga Resort, except it's a multicultural center for all people to participate. It's not, as far as I know, it's not a religious type thing. It's more for the arts and to keep customs alive. And I was surprised to see that we had 39% of the population of Simcoe County that speak over 150 different languages. And I'm sure here we would have Italian and Greek and Dutch and French and so on, but we are also having many newcomers to our town. So I just thought if we at least had somebody, maybe the CAO yourself, Darcy, and the town treasurer, just to see what sort of thing could be done, to see what other centers have. Is it institutional? Do they pay taxes? We can't waive things. That's something they would have to know up front. But as far as the land issue, there may be a spot where something like that could go. It would certainly bring tourism to town and would leave dollars from a commercial standpoint in New Tecumseh. Because if it's going to go somewhere, Bradford or wherever, then I'd hate to lose out on any monies that we might be able to have, and to learn things from other people from other countries who are now integrated into Canada and are Canadian citizens and who have invested in our town. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Your Worship. Actually, I'm pleased to inform Council that Simcoe County has already made a donation to this project, and Simcoe County, I believe, is committed to going forward somewhere with this project in Simcoe County. And the donation was made on behalf of all 16 member municipalities financially, including New Tecumseh. And I believe the county is committed to working with this group to go forward to find a location for them. So, Your Worship, my suggestion at this time is they are working with the Simcoe County, that we just receive this report for now, and then we get direction from Simcoe County on where they're progressing as they go forward. So that would be my recommendation, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Councillor Noel? Your mute button's on, Councillor Noel.
Thank you, Your Worship. When I read this letter, like they're looking for a large piece of land and ample parking spots, and they want to waive the DC charges. Like, this is a lot of money. Like, they're looking at a $9 million construction project, and if we waive the DC charges on that, that's a lot of money that we're losing out on, plus a donation of land. So I'd be careful on this. Excuse me. Thank you.
Legal, Councillor Noel, legally we can't waive the DC charge. It's a provincial law. We can't waive it. Okay, Councillor Sainsbury.
Thank you, Worship. Supplementary through you to the Deputy Mayor, or perhaps you're the person. Because of this committee that's going to be working at the county level, would either one of you be part of that so that you could give input? And through our staff, could we, if it's not one of you that would be the rep, could it be one of our staff that would stay in touch and on top of this project? Perhaps Darcy from Economic Development or Planning with Mr. Hockey, just so there's somebody they can send emails to.
Okay, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. If I may speak for the both of us, my understanding is that it's Councillor Sainsbury, is that it was a county process. It came through the governance committee and committee of the whole at county council. So what is Worship what I could do? I can't guarantee we'll be on the committee, but we'll certainly be part of the discussions, because county council is doing it as a whole. They're not sure where this center would be located. They haven't made a decision yet. I think they're out there trying to see maybe which municipality might be able to encourage them more to come. But absolutely, Councillor Sainsbury, any correspondence that comes through county council or the committee that works there, the mayor and I, your worship, if you're okay with that, we'll make sure that it's distributed to our council here. And any updates we get, we'll make sure that you get them.
Good, thank you. Councillor Lacey?
Thank you, Your Worship. In reviewing the letter, I think that at this point, all they're requesting is a letter of interest be sent by the town to them, expressing an interest in the project. It's not obligating us to any funding or land at this point in time. It's just to get into the discussions and figure out what might be best for all parties involved. And I think if it's just a letter of interest that we're needing right now, I'd like to put a motion forward that we send the letter of interest. We're interested in having it in our community.
Okay. A seconder? Councillor Harrison McIntyre. Second. Discussion on the motion. Okay, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Carries. Can I get the motion read out, Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Worship. That report number CAO-2020-06 be received, and further that staff be directed to send a letter of interest to the organization.
Good. All in favor? Oh, what? No, we already voted, sorry. All right, next CW51, Councillor Beattie.
Thanks, Your Worship. I'll be brief with this. Just a couple of quick questions regarding this 5-story addition in the Kingsmere complex for 60 new units for some seniors housing, certainly needed. I just had a question through you to staff with regard to access and parking. The site plan proposes to establish 59 parking spaces to service the entire site. 2 of the 59 parking stalls will be barrier-free. As part of the expansion works, 9 new stalls will be constructed. My question is it 9 additional barrier-free stalls, or are they 9 additional stalls to the 59?
Yeah. Director Vatry.
Through your worship to Councillor Beattie and members of committee, the intent is that it'll be 59 total stalls, 9 of which are new, and in that 59, 2 of them will be for the disabled stalls.
Thanks, Your Worship. One more through to Director Vatry, who can probably answer this as well. With respect to the haul route is exclusively industrial parkway and no other option. Is that correct in that it's only east-west access on the parkway? There won't be any trucks accessing through the town line or in other ways?
Director Vatry.
Through your worship to Councillor Beattie again, the intent is that trucks will come, any construction vehicles will come in off of Industrial Parkway, travel north or south on King Street or Town Line to the entrance of the site and no further to the south. So there should be no traffic on the Town Line or they'd be in contravention of the agreement.
Okay.
Thanks, Director Vatry. Thanks, Your Worship.
Thank you. Councillor Sainsbury. Your mute button's on, Councillor Sainsbury.
Through you to Director Vatry. Because they're already building quite a few homes at Kingsmere, and they're going to be building this high-rise building, and we're going to be building a gas bar on the corner. It's going to be a long, I just wondered if there's any kind of timing when they're doing the agreements that we could kind of get in, out, and gone, instead of not having any peace for the retired people to enjoy for many, many years. I just wondered how long it might take for this sort of thing.
Director Vatry.
Through your worship to Councillor Sainsbury, I'll try and answer that. The site plan agreement for the gas station, it's working its way through. It hasn't been brought into good standing yet, so likely they will be starting construction in the springtime. Similarly, the expansion to the seniors building, it's also been asked to be deferred until likely the spring when they'll start. So likely both of those works will likely be started in the spring of 2021.
Good, thank you. Anyone else? Have a motion moved by Councillor Beattie. I look for a seconder that further that a bylaw be enacted and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a site plan agreement, amendment number 2, with Serena Kingsmere Inc. to facilitate the construction of a 5-story, 60-unit seniors residential addition located at 287 King Street South in Alliston, subsequently in form of attachment number 3 to report of Inc. 2020-18, subject to the down solicitor's final clearance. Seconder, please. Councillor Foster, all in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Thank you. At this time, we'll go into closed session. The committee of the whole convenes in the closed session at
8:23, Your Worship.
to unsolicited request to purchase portion of NTRC lands, propose or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality over local board is authorized per the Municipal Act of Section 239(2)C, and Deputy Mayor is calling a conflict of interest. Thank you. We'll take a minute to get